Do it.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you?
Yes, I can. That is perfect.
Good.
So, everybody, I am Monica Rose. This is my YouTube running portal, and I have with me here Lisa Decker. She is the first athlete I have on here, and I chose her particularly one because you have a truly cool vibe out there on the trails, and absolutely love it. If you have ever had a bad race moment, I don't think I've ever picked up on it because it doesn't matter 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock at night. You're always out there smiling and having a good time.
Heck yeah, I
So,
love it.
tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into trail running. Who is responsible for getting you into this brand of crazy?
Ooh, well, probably around like 2014 or 15, I was kind of got into like road running and I was running with Team RWB, just Team Red, White, and Blue. They're a awesome, awesome veteran and civilian organization. And I was at an event with some ladies and they were talking about this brand new trail race called Habanero 100.
I
And they
might
were
know
like,
that one.
right. And they were like, hey, we're thinking about putting together a relay. We just need 5 people. And they were like, one, two, three, four, five. And I was like, okay, I guess. And that was my first trail race experience was the very first habanero, which was only at Busher 1 year. And I think that
Okay.
is harder actually than 7IL. And that year there was only like 100-mile finisher. It was a crazy race, but I was hooked after that, like hanging out the finish line with Rob Goyen and watching like runners coming in looking like death and dying from the heat. Like I was hooked.
It seems to be that habanero for probably our area, believe it or not, ends up being a lot of people's first ultra. It
Yes.
was my first ultra. Meg Eckhart is fully responsible for getting me into this.
Yeah, that was her first 100-miler, and she like broke the course record that year.
Yes, yes, and then she is having a phenomenal year already. So
Yes.
I'm stoked to follow her. But when you talk to people during Habanero, it's their first one. Um, and so it's I don't know what it is with that one that seems to people are like, let me check that one as my first one. So
It's the mental toughness. That one is just so it's not a hard course, like
no.
technical wise, but just the starting at noon and the heat and having to all the logistics that go into it makes it way harder than most races.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see there was we had our first guided runner last year, which was
Yes,
so
Jeff.
cool. Yes.
Yes, and he actually just completed his first 100-miler at Brazos Bend. Also, 100% blind.
Oh my
He's
gosh, I
amazing.
love
Like,
that.
I was in the tent or sharing canopies, so we got to check up on him. He's amazing.
That is really really good. So when you because I know when I can't remember which race where I first like saw you at because it was like on the periphery. I was seeing people on Facebook, and then of course the more trail races you do, whether it's Ann's race with Blaze Trail or now Cal's with Trot, you kind of see the same people. So did you start out rucking or did where did that come
Mhm.
in? And can you tell people what rucking is? Because I'm sure they're probably thinking, okay, what is that? What is that?
Yeah. Well, I kind of started a few years ago. I did have a running coach for a little bit, Tommy Gulch, awesome. And part of our training was actually wearing weight vests and doing weight vest hiking. Um, because well, Houston, it's flat. We don't have hills to train on, so it helps I guess work the muscles that like I do a long like weight vest hike and I could feel it in my legs as if I climbed like 4,000
Oh,
feet.
nice.
So I don't know. I really just started enjoying wearing the weight vest for training. Um, and then I think when I had signed up for last year's jackalope jam, the 100 hour, because that's you have to do the longest distance. My friend Victor, who loves to put crazy ideas in my head, was like, "You should ruck it," and I'm like, "You know what? Let's do it." A couple of my friends had done it in the past. I thought they were amazing. They looked like, I mean, they were having a horrible time, but also they were doing incredible things. And I was like, you know what? I want to push myself and do that. So I had signed up just to do that. So rucking is basically wearing weights, basically a weighted walk or a weighted run. So you can wear either a weight vest, which I prefer. I switched over to the backpack where it's all like just in a pack, which is mostly what the military does. And I found an awesome local group in Houston called Texas Strong Running Club or Rucking Club, and started doing events with them. And they got me to, well, they didn't convince me. I convinced myself to ruck habanero this last year. So
I remember that because I was just like, that's, and last year was not, I'm going to say this, and people that are probably new to trails are going to laugh. Habanero was nice last year,
yes, it
meaning
wasn't, I
temperature
don't think it was
wise.
that bad. The year before was horrible. I just volunteered. I was taking care of people and they were dropping like flies the year before. And then this year I didn't feel like it was that bad.
No, she was nice. She was like, I think our starting was like 92, 93, and the field might have been like 96.
Yeah, I
So
don't think it quite hit triple digits, but it might have.
I,
I don't
I
know.
just I always get nervous when we have a cool summer going into that one because I'm always afraid that Texas is going to show up and go, oh, hey, here you go. So
You never know what you're going to get from habanero or
no,
any race, basically.
no, which leads me into Jackalope Jam. So you're doing the 100 hour again this year, and
Yes.
you're wrecking this one again this year.
Yes.
And I'm so jealous because I don't get to participate this year, but I
I
will be
know.
there.
I miss you.
We'll be there next year. I know the first year I did that one, I made the horrible mistake of it got cold, and
Yes.
the car is not your friend. I got in my car, I got myself warmed up, and then mentally I could not get back out. So anybody who wants to do Jackalope Jam, that's my tip. Do not get in your car. Do not go
I
anywhere
I tell
warm.
myself I try to make myself just comfortable enough, like I don't, or just uncomfortable enough. I don't want to ever get too comfortable at that race because
Yes.
I've talked to my friend Chris about maybe bringing his RV out to have in case I need something. I'm like, no, I don't want that luxury. I'm going to have my canopy with my tent. I do keep my car on the trail to hop into in case there's an emergency. I need to get warm. I need desperate for sleep or something, but I want to be moving the whole time. I have a really, really big goal. So,
And speaking of that goal, what is your goal? Are you going to let us know? I've been seeing hints of
yes.
it. So
Okay.
what is the goal?
So I've never do this. I've never kind of been like, oh, I'm going to set a course record or podium or whatever. I've never been that kind of person. Last year, I had in my head, okay, I'm going to go after the women's course record, which my friend Sierra set the year before with wrecking. She did 150 miles. So I was like, okay, I want to beat Sierra's record. And I did last year, I did 154. And then there was a gentleman who got the overall course record last year, and I want the overall course record. So
Okay.
it's going to be tough, but I really kind of, I think I can do it. And that's given me motivation the past year is I've had this number in my head for a whole year and I've been working towards like, this is like my A race this year.
I know you've been putting in some serious miles at different races and just your strength overall from the beginning of last year to this year going into it. I mean you've always been strong, and that's one of the biggest things that I admire about you is when people say, "Oh, it can't be done." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, let me show you someone that can show you how it is done." And so I'm really excited. And I think I think you reaching that and then going past his record is completely doable because you are so strong and you've been very systematic. in your races when I looked at run sign up and then ultra sign up. I mean, you have clearly set yourself up to have the most success for Jackalope Jam. So I'm pretty stoked to watch that, and I am somehow, even if I have to like escape from my sitters, I intend to be out there. So
Yeah, that would be great. Come can bring me some tacos or something.
oh, I can definitely do that. I will for sure send you a message and pick up
Yes.
whatever might need to be out
Whatever
there.
the craving is out there, you never know. I've been watching, can't quite see the weather yet, but I've been watching the weather.
I know last year was wild. I have video when that wind came in where the lantern in my tent was just swinging, and I was like, I got out. I think I went for an hour, but the wind was pushing me so much. I was like, I'm not, I'm not even doing anything really. So I
Yeah, I had
crawled
to
back.
take a break to like MacGyver the top of my canopy down. It's like destroyed. I was like poking holes in it and tying rope, anchoring the rope to the ground just to keep the canopy from
Hmm.
blowing away. But it's like that every year. And then the first day was what, 75 and
Sunshine.
sunny, and
Yes.
everybody got sunburned and
It was, yeah, it was, I met another lady there. I think she was going for the 72-hour event. It was her
okay,
first trail event. I believe her name was Jasmine.
okay.
And she was completely new to the whole thing. And I know that she was like, she's like, I can't believe how nice everybody is out here. Because I told her, it's like, if you need anything, I was like, most of all of us have extra. It's like, don't be
Yeah,
afraid to ask.
yeah.
And she was like mostly running, and then she got to where she was walking, and then she had me laughing. She's like, my aunt tried to get me to go in the car. I was like, well, did you need some sleep? She's like, oh, I told her that's where dreams go to die, and I didn't want to die yet. So
I love it. That's the attitude you need out there.
oh yes, yeah. I was like, I told her, I was like, girl, you need to put that on a t-shirt. So, with 20, so once you're done with Jackalope Jam, because like you have put in some serious mileage between Brazos Bend, and then were you out at Dinosaur Valley?
Yes, I got to about 85 miles and then I missed the loop cut off to do the next one. But then 2 weeks later, I did Brazos Bend 100 and finally got.
Yes.
And you know what? I had two pretty devastating 100-mile DNFs leading up to Brazos Bend. But I always
Right
said,
here.
Brazos Bend is where always wanted my first like non-timed event 100-miler to be. So I was like, it was meant to be. So
There we
I was
go.
very happy with it.
There we go. Yeah,
It was
it's
good.
Brazos Bend, I will be back out. That is definitely my revenge race of all like life events happening out there on the trail. I My body literally breaking was not
Yeah.
one of them. When you kept walking and I couldn't even keep up with you, and my steps got smaller and smaller, I was like, okay, we're in some serious trouble here. And
Yeah.
I actually sent Cal an email, and I'll just tell anybody that that watches this, when race directors say look out for yourself and for others, that's not a casual statement. They literally mean that, because Brazos on those new sections, you're just out there. And
Yeah.
I was like thinking to myself, if I tell Cal that I went through the aid station knowing my condition, and well, I don't know, Cal. I'm out here in the middle of this, and there's these kind of trees by me. So race directors are really serious about that stuff, especially when it gets dark. And Brazos is a beautiful park, but we got snakes and there's alligators and there's wildlife.
Yeah, I'm more
So
terrified of hogs out there in the middle of the night than anything.
this will make you laugh. I was so naive when I did habanero the first time, because my little road brain was like, okay, well, I checked these boxes, I did these things, and of course, after the first loop, I was like, oh, girl, you are in some serious trouble here. But I didn't have a strong enough light, and so I'm running pretty much like half in the dark because my light's not bright enough.
Yeah.
and I see something out like off to the side and it completely like freaks me out. I get to the middle aid station and God bless this woman's heart. I must have had like panic written all over my face because she's like, you know what? She's like, I need a break. She's like, why don't you hang with me? And she's like, and I got an extra, she's like, I got a flashlight for you. And
Yeah.
I told her what happened. I just knew it was wildlife. She's like, oh, those are cows. And
Okay.
I was like, great, terrified of cows. So,
Those can be pretty. I've shined my headlamp on them out at 7IL, where that's like you can't get lost out there, and seeing their eyes flash out it's terrifying. It can be terrifying no matter what you see. Armadillo.
God, I just, yeah, I was a little bit mortified, but yeah, I was like, cows. Okay. Cows are, yeah. So with the wrapping up of Jackalope Jam, what are your other races that you have planned for this year?
So the next big one would be a month later, Grasslands 100.
Okay.
I DNF'd the 50 miler last year, but it was a muddy mess
That
last
was just a
year.
force of Mother Nature out there, and anybody that stuck to
Wild.
it was, I'm
Anybody
like,
that finished
oh,
it.
yes.
So yeah, going for that, and then I've kind of have a break for most of the summer. Have a small 48-hour Achilles Hill that
Okay.
Ben Bridgman puts on his family's
Oh,
property.
yes, yes.
So that's fun. He's adding a 48-hour this year, so I'm gonna go
Oh,
out
this,
and see what I can do because I did the 36-hour last year. Was not even planning to do 100 miles, and it just accidentally happened. I kind of synced up with a guy there that was going for it, and we had so much fun. And we ended up doing the whole entire 100 miler together at Brazos Bend.
oh,
And,
nice.
and he just signed up for Grasslands. So I'm like, you know what? I know I can hang with this guy and we can get it done, and it keeps me company. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to hang out with Justin and sing all night long. Sorry to anybody that hears our trail karaoke.
I think after a certain point on the trails, like anything like after 10 o'clock, it just, it stays out there. Whatever
Yeah,
happens.
we're playing loud screaming music and we're singing at the top of our lungs. So all anything goes after 10 o'clock.
Oh, I for sure, for sure. So speaking of a DNF, do you have a revenge race? That's what I call them. That one race where you're like, I should have finished it. There's no
Yep.
reason why. I know mine is Brazos. It is. I will be back there. Hell or high water. I am finishing that. So what is your revenge race?
So Cactus Rose, I kind of switched to sign up for that one kind of last minute. I was originally going to go do Lake Murray, and I wanted to try to do the Lone Star Slam of 100 milers.
Okay.
That was being put on. So there's like six major 100 milers in Texas. There starts with Habanero 100, Cactus Rose, and then Dinosaur Valley, Brazos Bend, Rocky Raccoon, and Grasslands.
Right.
So if you do all six in that same year, that's the like super slam, I think.
That's
If
the
you
super slam.
do
Yeah.
five, it's the ultra slam, and if you do four of them, it's the slam. So I was like, okay, I'm already signed up for two. Let's sign up for two more and see if I can do the slam. Well, of course, I DNF'd the first one, which was Cactus Rose, but that one is a unique race. It's where Bandera is held, so it's pretty tough. They pretty much any route you could take, they make it the toughest route. There are aid stations. They are unmanned and they only have ice and water. You are responsible for all of your own gear. So I went into this 100% self-supported, didn't even look into trying to get a pacer. I probably needed one because it starts Friday at like 4 p.m. So you're almost immediately into nighttime the first day. And then you go all day Saturday, and then you're going all day Saturday night. And then for a note, it's Sunday. And I've been up for like 48 hours at this point, hallucinating
God.
out of my mind, getting fried by the heat, not taking care of myself. and I hallucinated or deja vued myself into thinking I missed the cutoff or had zero time to make it. I stopped at 95 miles.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yes, and looking back, I had no clue what time it was. The next day, I'm looking at timestamps of some text messages, and I was like, I had 2 hours to go 5 miles. But I was so I was seeing a lot of really fun things that weren't there. So I was not mentally where I needed to be. So and all my friends that finished it, they're like, "Oh, we one and done. We'll never do it again, but we'll come support you." And I'm like, "Okay." So if I go back, or sorry, when I go back, I don't know when I'll be able to. I have a big support group, so
That's good.
that'll be great. That was probably the toughest. I think it's the toughest 100 miler in Texas right now. Honestly, like
Is the Cactus Rose?
Cactus Rose, definitely.
Yeah, I
I would
haven't
have
been.
never, ever, ever even attempted that race probably a year ago. So maybe the one loop, maybe 25 miles, but never 100. So I was
Now,
very
and that one is, and that's what people need to know about that one. So that one, while it's looped, it's a big loop. It's like what, 25, 30 miles?
25 miles, and then each loop you switch directions and you do it the opposite way.
Okay,
And then
so
you switch back around. Like, so it's crazy. And I pretty much was 100% by myself for about at least 75 miles.
oh wow.
By myself, just myself and my thoughts. And there's like no cell service, so I couldn't even really listen to music. I was just me and the trails and the rocks, all the rocks.
Yeah, I
And
think
the
the
total.
Possum's Revenge is probably like the rockiest one that I have done.
Yeah.
People, it to me, that one reminds me, it's like somebody gave a bunch of kids like baskets of Legos, just lots and lots of Legos, and just threw them out there. You get through the sand, and then you gotta, yeah, and it's just like the rocks just don't end. It's a beautiful course. It's absolutely
Yes. Yes,
beautiful.
that's another revenge one. Possum's Revenge. I have a little bit of revenge on that one. I was one loop short of the 69 mile. I missed the cutoff on that one too. Just need to work on I don't have the speed. I can do it, just don't have the speed or the confidence on technical trails yet. I'm working on it.
Yeah, the technical I love. I'm not as strong as center. I love going down. I will bomb down like a child will. Um and I know like some races like Wildflower where poles would be absolutely beneficial. There's a part of me that I'm like, I'm a little bit of like, Gracie Lou Freebush, and I can see that I would misplace that pole going down, and then so I'm like, I don't know that I need to use poles. So I know that it would be beneficial, probably for that one to have. So, what would be for someone that is just starting out, what would be your number one tip that you would give them? Out of all the tips that are out there and everything that you learned, what would be the number one you would give them?
So I actually kind of had a little talk with this. My friend Chris, we have our own little like trail therapy when we go out and do our miles together. And because he credits me to helping him with this is work on your walking. People think when they go out to a race, no matter if it's road or trail, that you have to just run the whole entire time.
Right.
And I spent probably like up until the last year and a half walking every single one of my races because I was kind of backstory. I've lost about 125 pounds in the last 2 years and I did not like to run. Didn't feel good, but I could walk all day long. Still have I mean, even back then, I still had a very decent walking pace. So I say just go out and walk and enjoy the trails before like really trying to push yourself. Like get comfortable on the trails and soak it in. Like I go out and I'm taking pictures, I'm making videos, I'm making TikToks and reels. Like I'm having a good time. I'm not out there to get on the podium or break records, except for the one that that I'm working on. But just go out and have fun.
I think that's the key. I think people somewhere as they see the marathons, especially if they come from road over to trail and they think that, oh my gosh, you have to run the whole thing. And I was never so grateful for knee rehab last year because it forced me to learn how to walk. And people listening understand it's not walking like you're walking with grandma. It is a different walk.
Walking with a purpose. Walk with
Yes.
a purpose. You are,
Yes.
or as ultra runners call it, power hiking.
Yes. Yes. Power hiking, the ultra shuffle.
Yes, I
So
love the ultra shuffle. I can shuffle all day long.
it's and like and there's some parts of trails that are like especially like at nighttime where you actually move better and faster doing that rather than trying to run,
Yeah.
especially if it's technical like possums or cactus or even like Dino Valley. I haven't ran that one.
Oh, Dino Valley, there's some good runnable sections, but yeah, and even well, running the rows. Even I had friends that were with me. They're like, I'm having to run to keep up with your walk because I
Yeah.
train. A lot of people don't train for walking, and then when they are forced to walk, they don't know. It's just not comfortable. Where for me, like I walk a lot when I'm like forced or not forced. When I choose to run, it's a little more awkward for me because I don't train as much as that. Like, I need to find that balance.
Right. So, well, I think that will come. I know I'll be out at Dino Valley this year, so that's been on my bucket list. That's like one of my top five bucket list is to run that one. Um, and then speaking of bucket list, do you have a bucket list race?
Ooh, well, I'm signed up right now for Vol State 500.
Oh,
Okay.
is that the volcano race?
No, Vol State.
Ball State.
It's
Okay, okay.
the Lazarus Lake, who's also the race director of the Barkley Marathons, puts it on. It's a 500-kilometer race across Tennessee in July. And it's
Okay.
pretty much all it's not really a race, it's more of a journey, they say. So you are completely self-supported. You refuel with gas stations and Dollar Generals,
Oh my
and
gosh.
there's a lot of road angels that stop by and give you water from their car or have stuff set up in their front yard. And like fire stations have like sleep stations set up. You sleep there or like behind churches and go go feral. So it's plan on doing that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a true adventure. I will be seeing Mr. Laz in September. So,
Okay.
um, I respect that race because of how difficult it is.
Yes.
It scares me a lot, especially I'm going into it not in the way that I anticipated going into it, but I've been trying for 2 years. And so
Yeah.
it's one of those when your name gets pulled,
You go
it's
for it. Just
you
do
just
it.
go for it. So I was like, whew. So but yeah, so and wrapping this up, I have some fun questions. What's your favorite trail food out there when you're racing? What's your go-to food?
Well, if ever anybody is friends with me, they saw my oatmeal cream pies that I
Yes.
create for all of running the rows. Um, that and oh gosh, mashed potatoes.
Ooh, mashed potatoes is really
Mashed
good.
potatoes, yes. Ooh, or pancake and bacon sandwiches.
I have not tried a
Ooh,
pancake. Bacon
just
sandwiches, yes, but not a
I
pancake. Now
mean,
I feel
just
like I have to.
bacon pancake. Oh my gosh, it's magical.
Okay, so because I know you and I know how much you love going to Bucky's, what's the most amount you have ever spent in a Bucky's on a road trip?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Does that include gas?
If we took the gas out.
I mean, I really don't buy a whole lot of snacks there. I mean, just a few things here and there, but I mean, I could usually get out under $100 if there's no gas. If gas, of course, a little more. I don't really buy the like clothes and stuff. It's mostly food, and I don't know. I can't buy that much food. Maybe. I mean, I can, but I don't.
I know I like their chips are my favorite. That's the one that I love the most. Just I
I
could.
used to love the beaver nuggets, and of course, I always get like on the way home, like I'll get one of their like really big, like 10-layer burritos, and that's like 3 meals for me. Like it takes
Oh
me
my
forever to eat
gosh.
one, but
Burrito sounds good. And the last question is, if you had a walk-up song to start the race out, what would that walk-up song be?
A Day to Remember, Downfall of Us All.
Oh,
I always like I'll seriously I at my last race I was playing it on repeat like the last half mile just to get me to finish, but I like it at the beginning too. It just gets you going.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for letting
Absolutely.
us get to know you a little bit better. And like I said, if I can sneak away from my wardens, I will be out there on
Run
Saturday for
away,
sure.
just sneak away and come out. Yeah, at least on Sunday, the last day, it'll be fun.
Yes, yes, because of all the all the good traditions that are out there. So, okay, all right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.